The air conditioner sitting in your home right now was engineered with a specific end date in mind. And that date is closer than you think. Not because the technology is difficult. Not because cooling a room is some unsolved science, but because somewhere between the factory floor and your living room, a decision was made. A deliberate, calculated, profitable decision that you were never supposed to find out about. You paid anywhere from $500 to $5,000 for that unit, and the people who built it were counting on you to pay that again in about 7 years. There was a time when an air conditioner was a serious purchase, the kind of appliance families kept for a generation. Walk into a home built in the 1960s or 1970s, and you'd find window units still humming along after 25, sometimes 30 years of service. Central systems installed in the early 1980s routinely ran until the early 2000s without a single major repair. Technicians who serviced those units will tell you the same thing. The components were overbuilt. Thick-walled copper tubing, cast metal housings, compressors wound so conservatively they ran cool even under maximum load. Manufacturers built them to last because their reputation depended on it. Word of mouth was their marketing department, and a unit that died in year 6 was a brand killer. Something changed in the late 1990s, and it wasn't the technology, it was the philosophy. As HVAC manufacturers went public or got absorbed into large conglomerates, the pressure shifted. Quarterly earnings, not decade-long durability, became the scoreboard, and engineers who once designed for longevity were handed a new assignment: design for a replacement cycle. Not obviously, not crudely, subtly, surgically, in ways that would be almost impossible for the average homeowner to detect until it was too late. The result is what you're living with right now. A cooling system that looks modern, carries an impressive SEER rating on the box, and is built, at its core, from compromises you paid full price for. Start with the evaporator coil, the component that actually does the cooling. In units manufactured before roughly 2004, evaporator coils were built from copper. Heavy gauge, corrosion-resistant, repairable copper. A pinhole leak in a copper coil cost about $150 to patch, and you were done. Today, most residential units ship with aluminum coils. Aluminum is cheaper to produce, saves manufacturers an estimated $40 to $80 per unit. But aluminum corrodes differently than copper. It develops what technicians call formicary corrosion, tiny branching pinholes that spread through the coil like cracks in old paint. You can't patch them, you can't solder them closed. When an aluminum coil fails, and industry data suggests most do somewhere between years 5 and 9, you're replacing the entire coil assembly. That's $1,400 to $2,200 installed on a unit that might have cost you $3,000 new. Do the math, and the math is brutal. Now look at the compressor, the heart of the entire system. Older compressors were built with what's called a scroll or reciprocating design, manufactured to tolerances that allowed for years of stress before showing wear. More importantly, they were serviceable. A failing valve, a worn bearing, a skilled technician could get inside, replace the part, and add years of life back to the machine. Modern residential compressors are sealed units, completely sealed. There is no access, no serviceable interior. When the compressor fails, and many do by year 8 under heavy summer loads, the unit is effectively dead. A replacement compressor, if one is even available for your model, runs $1,100 to $1,800 plus labor. Most HVAC contractors will tell you the same thing. At that price point, just buy a new system, which, of course, is exactly the point. But nothing kills a modern air conditioner faster than what's been added, not removed. The circuit board. In the push to make units smart, manufacturers replaced mechanical controls with proprietary circuit boards that manage every function of the system. Sounds like progress. It isn't. A mechanical contactor switch costs $22 and snaps in 20 minutes. The proprietary control board it replaced? $340, if the manufacturer still makes it. Because here's the part they don't put in the brochure. Most manufacturers discontinue parts support after 7 to 10 years. Your unit is 8 years old, the board fries in a July heat wave, and the replacement part simply does not exist anymore. You're not repairing it, you're shopping for a new one, and you're doing it in August, when your negotiating power is 0. None of this happened by accident. The industry has a term for what was done to your air conditioner: value engineering. That's the sanitized boardroom version of what repair technicians just call parts degradation. The business model works like this. Compress manufacturing costs at the component level, use the savings to fund marketing that emphasizes efficiency ratings and smart features, price the unit aggressively to move volume, and then design the service and parts ecosystem to make repair economically irrational. When fixing it costs 60% of replacing it, most consumers replace it, every single day at a time. Here's what makes this particularly calculated. The failure points are designed to cascade. The aluminum coil corrodes and releases refrigerant, which forces the compressor to work harder, which overheats the circuit board, which triggers a fault code that most homeowners can't diagnose. So they call a technician, who gives them a repair quote that's 3/4 the price of a new system, and the cycle completes. It's not one failure, it's a choreographed sequence, and the warranty, that 2 or 5 or 10-year warranty on the box, is written specifically to cover the components least likely to fail in that window, while the ones that will fail fall just outside it. This isn't just about staying cool in August. The average American household now replaces a central air system every 9 to 12 years, compared to every 20 to 25 years in 1985. That's an extra $4,000 to $7,000 in replacement costs over a 30-year homeownership span. Not counting the installation labor, the refrigerant disposal fees, the permit costs some municipalities require. You are, without realizing it, funding a replacement cycle that was designed in a corporate strategy session, not an engineering lab. And the worst part? The newer unit you buy to replace the failing one is built on the same philosophy. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, before you buy any system, ask the dealer for the parts availability window. If a manufacturer can't guarantee parts support for at least 12 years, that tells you everything about how long they expect it to last. Second, look for units with copper evaporator coils. They still exist, mostly in commercial-grade residential lines, and they're worth the price premium. Third, before any major repair, search the model number and part number yourself online. If the component is already discontinued, you need to know that before you spend $800 on a service call. And fourth, if your unit is under 10 years old and a contractor immediately recommends full replacement, get a second opinion. Always. You're not powerless here. You're just informed now. And that's a different position entirely. The manufacturers are counting on homeowners who don't know what an evaporator coil is, who trust the warranty language without reading it, who replace without questioning. You're not that homeowner anymore. If this changed how you look at what's sitting on the side of your house, subscribe. Next time, we're pulling apart the water heater industry. And what we found inside the tank is going to make your stomach drop. Trust me, you'll want to see this one.